What is up, guys? My name is Zach. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and welcome to the day one recap of the 2017 NBA playoffs. And before this video starts, I just want to take a second to say rest in peace to Isaiah Thomas's sister. For those of you that don't know, she was actually killed in a car accident yesterday at the very young age of 22. So this is terrible news for Isaiah Thomas and really just everyone in the family. Everyone just send prayers to Isaiah Thomas and his family. But still, we do have 4 games of playoff action to talk about, so let's just hop right into it. This is going to be a good one. I was really looking forward to watching this game yesterday, and I for sure wasn't disappointed. From the very beginning, these two teams were exchanging blows. LeBron started off the game in facilitator mode, really looking to get guys like Kevin Love going. As for the Pacers, Paul George came out aggressive and really stayed aggressive the entire game. But after the first quarter is when LeBron looked to be a bit more aggressive in finding his own shot too, as he only scored 4 points in the first, but still finished the game with 32 points on 60% shooting from the field. He also had 13 assists and 6 rebounds and 3 steals, which was just the game he needed in order to pass Oscar Robertson for the third most 30-10 games in NBA playoff history. Oscar Robertson just seems to be getting passed up by everybody this year. And of course, this is just the beginning of what playoff LeBron is capable of. But that being said, I said this game was a good one, and the Pacers weren't going to make it easy at all for Cleveland, as they were right there with them the entire time. Well, up until the fourth quarter, at least, when it seemed like the Cavs were ready to pull away with this one when they went up by 10. But the Pacers made a rally, and it came down to the final possession, when Paul George was forced to give the ball to CJ Miles, who got a look at the shot, but it just fell short, and the Pacers lose this one 109-108. Paul George went blow for blow with LeBron, scoring 29 points as well as having 7 assists and 5 rebounds. And Lance Stephenson has probably been the best thing that has happened to Indy this year, as he brings a lot of heart and energy off the bench. Not only that, but he can play a bit too, as he had 16 points and 7 rebounds. Other than LeBron's 32, Kyrie chipped in 23 and Love had 17. And after the game, Paul George blamed the loss on him not being aggressive enough trying to get the last shot.
Situations like that, I got to get the last shot.
To which LeBron disagreed, saying that George actually made the right play, just had to live with the outcome. And either way, if CJ's shot went in, then George made the right play. If George took the right shot and he missed it, then the right play could have been passing to CJ Miles. Hindsight is 2020. Cleveland now leads the series 1-0. Awful start, just about one of the worst starts to the game that you could possibly imagine if you are a Jazz fan. I mean, this is your first time back in the playoffs in a while. You guys are matched up against the Clippers and do have a pretty fair chance of advancing to the second round. And then, the very first play, you lose Gobert to some type of knee injury when he was setting a screen. He would have to leave for the rest of the game and did get x-rays on his knee, which came back negative. But now he's going to have an MRI and we await the results. So hopefully it is nothing that will cause him to miss too much time. But after that, the Jazz came together. Without the heart and soul of their defense, they still managed to keep this one close up until the very end. They actually had the lead with around 18 seconds left in the game, 95-93. But then CP3 hit a running layup with 13 seconds left to tie it at 95 apiece. It looked like we were about to have our first overtime meeting in this year's playoff series, in which is supposed to be an extremely close series. 13 seconds left, 95 apiece. The Jazz eventually get the ball into one of the clutchest players in NBA history's hands, Joe Johnson. 5, gotta get something up. 4, running out of time. 3, time to make a move. 2, all right, here we go. 1, hope that goes in. 0, that's how many games the Jazz have lost in this series after Joe Johnson sinks the shot at the buzzer to give the Jazz the 97-95 victory. Joe Clutch Mo Johnson does it again. He was dialed in all night long, scoring 21 points on 9 of 14 shooting from the field, while Gordon Hayward added 19 points and 10 rebounds. Blake Griffin did score 26, and Chris Paul added 25 points and 11 assists for the Clippers, who are now down 1-0. And I guess that didn't put Doc Rivers in the best of moods, as a reporter asked Doc a question that I will admit was kind of dumb, but Rivers really let him know that it was dumb, actually calling it the dumbest thing he's ever heard.
Doug, when Chris has a lane to the basket and he goes for a quick 2, I mean, it sets up the opportunity. I mean, what's the philosophy on that? Do you wait and say wave off an easy attack at the basket? In other words, he could have held up and tried to run the clock down to the final. You know, when you were down 2.
Who would do that? Like, why would you ever do that?
Like to maybe like 5 seconds. You know,
so
enough
if you
time for an
miss,
offensive.
the game's over.
Right. Well, no, like
that
5
makes
seconds.
no sense.
Right. I'm just asking.
No, that is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. When you're down 2,
right.
you try to score.
Exactly.
And then you put it on you don't wait.
You rely on your defense.
You score.
As quickly as you can, however
If you can score in 1 second, you score.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you always do that.
All right.
And if you can find another coach to tell you different, I want to meet him.
All right.
Coach, that poor man is just trying to make a living, and now you might have costed him his job by exposing him like that. Well, this one looked like it was going to be a good game, in the first half at least, as the Grizzlies were kind of able to keep up with the Spurs. I say kind of because in the first quarter they actually did a really good job, scoring 30 points and only allowing the Spurs 25. But then in the second, you could kind of feel it coming. I mean, the Spurs kicked their defense up a few notches, and their offense was looking as efficient as always. But you know, I thought after getting outscored 27-19 in the second, that Memphis could use the halftime break to recompose themselves and not let San Antonio pull away. Well, that most definitely didn't happen, as the Spurs came out in the third and immediately put their foot on the Grizzlies' neck and never lifted it off. And they get the blowout 111-82 win. Kawhi Leonard was getting plenty of MVP chants from the home crowd last night, and he most definitely played like an MVP candidate, scoring 32 points on 11 of 14 shooting from the field, while Tony Parker was really actually saving himself during the regular season for the playoffs, as he looked like the Tony Parker from a few years back. He had 18 points and only 22 minutes of action. For the Grizzlies, Marc Gasol had an amazing first half, scoring 25 points, but then he really wasn't able to do anything in the second half, only scoring 7 points to finish with 32. And the Spurs now lead the series 1-0. Speaking of not being able to score in the second half, Toronto went beyond ice cold from the field in the second half against the Bucks. They looked really good in the second quarter, but those Monstars, man, they are no joke, as it seems they zapped all the talent right out of the Raptors. Check this out. In the second half, Toronto shot an abysmal 7 of 35 from the field. Seems kind of like deja vu though from their game 1 last year against the Heat in the second round. So luckily this is nothing that the Raptors haven't come back from before, but if you are the Bucks, you have to be feeling really good about this 97-83 win and essentially stealing home court advantage. And a lot of people said this series will be Giannis Antetokounmpo's coming out party of sorts, with the whole world watching that he can make an even bigger name for himself. And he got out to a strong start as he scored an efficient 28 points on 13 of 18 shooting from the field, as well as grabbing 8 rebounds. Greg Monroe was also huge for the Bucks in his first playoff game of his career off the bench. He only scored 14 points but made his presence known on the glass as he had 15 rebounds, including 5 on the offensive end. Rookie Malcolm Brogdon also showed that he's not scared of the bright lights, as well as he continued where he left off his good rookie season with 16. Meanwhile for Toronto, DeRozan and Lowry shot a combined 9 of 32 from the field. DeRozan had 27 points on 7 of 21 shooting, and Lowry had 4 points on 2 of 11 shooting. Lowry did own up to his performance and took the blame for the Raptors losing this one after the game though.
I just gotta play better. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I gotta play better. I mean, it's my 5th game back. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna play better.
It's good to be your own best critic, and hopefully he will bounce back after this game. The Bucks now lead 1-0. And that about wraps up all the action for the day 1 recap of the 2017 NBA playoffs. And now let's get into the player of the day. Here are your nominees for day 1. You have LeBron James and his 32 points, 13 assists, and 6 rebounds. Joe Johnson and his 21 points, including the game winner. Kawhi Leonard and his 32 points and 5 assists. Or Giannis Antetokounmpo and his 28 points and 8 rebounds. As always, you guys can go vote for the player of the day right now by following the straw poll link down in the description box below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks team, SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace.